Alright, welcome guys. I wanted to make a lot of videos, but I was waiting for my computer to be fixed, but it's taken a lot of time, so I just decided to continue making some videos on this laptop. Today I want to discuss something which is not discussed very often, but which is requested a lot, because it seems to be that people use the wrong settings and it can actually hurt your position through the means of being front run or also in not getting your transactions filled. So we're going to discuss slippage settings and the best way to deal with this. So slippage, just to first clarify what it is a safety mechanism that you can configure before making a trade. Because like whenever a token is trading on the market, it tends to swing from price level to price level, so for example, if you look at the 1 second chart here, you can see that in seconds the price swings around 0.46%. But if I would go to a little bit more volatile coin, for example, switch to the second chart, you can see that in these 2 seconds right here it swinged 10%. So slippage basically just means that whenever you quote the exchange, let's say you do it right here, and the exchange says to you, or it quotes you like you can buy it at 7147. Do you accept? And then you're gonna likely want to accept it. But then it also, the odds are that between when you quote it and when you accept it, and also when the transaction actually hits the blockchain, there is a chance that the price will move in that little span of time. And to prevent like all transactions from failing, the exchange asks you basically how much do you allow price to move away from your quote to still be able to continue the transaction. So it is a very good safety measure, because you can now decide like how far can it deviate from your quote. But of course you do have to be aware of this and not just go with any random figure or a fixed number, because it obviously depends on the volatility of the token. It's obvious that you should use some sort of slippage, of course, but the question now is how much should you use? Because some people seem to suggest 10%, some people suggest as little as possible. But the problem is that if you go too low, let's say, in an ideal world, we don't want a higher slippage than 0.01%, but if you're gonna input such a number, you will not get any transaction through and you can never fill your position. So you need to find the right mix between getting your transaction through and also not being screwed by a sudden price movement or even MEV or front-running bots that take advantage of your too high slippage set configuration. So for that, I would usually go to the coin that I am trying to trade. So let's say that I'm trading this coin. I would look at like the average candle swing you see here. I'm on the second chart right now. So, and I assume that if I'm quick, it takes around 5 to 10 seconds to get the transaction through. So let's say I would do it here, for example, go for something like 5 seconds. And you can see that in that 5 seconds time frame, we moved 5.3%. So sometimes it can be more, but let's say that this is the average. So I would go to the DEX and put in 5.5%. Okay, so then it is tailored to the average movement that we see in this token. And it's also a good setting because the front run bots, they are only taking advantage if they see fit in the context. So if a token is, for example, on average moving like 5% and someone has put their slippage on 25%, then they're gonna try to front run you. But if the token is moving 10% per few seconds and someone puts their slippage on 10%, then they will likely not take that risk. So that's why this method is really going to work for you. And if we look at a different example, for example like Ray or Myro, actually they tend to move a lot less. So if we here take 5 seconds, you see the price only moves 0.13%, or in worst case it can be like 0.58. So in this case you could even use something like this, but I would never go lower than 0.5. I think 0.5 is a very safe estimate, and no bot is going to try to front run you if you have such a low slippage. So the last thing I want to discuss is this new setting on Jupiter called the auto slippage alpha. So I've been playing around with this, and I think it's a very good tool. It does something similar as I just explained to you, but then automatically. Of course, I would still check it because it does suggest a slippage setting. So whenever you're trading a token, just eyeball it, like, okay, I see here 0.5% movements. You can put it on alpha and you can check, like, okay, is this somewhere near what I had in mind? And if it is, then you can just make the trade. But I would say always be aware of what the ideal slippage should be as a part of your trading process. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope it helps and you will not face any more issues with slippage settings. So good luck trading and see you in the next one.